Just taking a look at some of the similarities between the baseball pitcher, sidearmer Darren of the Orioles, and Rickey Fowler, who just won the Phoenix Open recently. Just looking at the similarities and how they create speed with the center of their body. There's a very key move in both motions that create a lot of speed to help their levers and their arm action get the club head moving faster and the ball at the highest speed. So if we just roll this out, you're going to see how they load into the downswing and how he kind of loads into his lead leg into the catcher's mitt here. Okay, so we're going to run that a couple times here just so you can take a look. Really cool action. So if we stop this back here and we roll Darren O'Day to the point where he starts at the catcher's mitt. Like right now he's still winding. Now he's starting at the catcher's mitt. And you can see how he opens up his lower half really early. And the trail arm, which is his right arm, his throwing arm, is going to be delayed a little bit right here. See how it just kind of works into position right there? So he's torquing really hard right here. Chest is open up to the catcher. Arm is still getting in position. The arm is not coming forward yet at that point. And then there's a snap action right there. There it is. Now it's loaded fully. Ball is actually, hand and ball are still behind his right elbow. And then, boom, there it goes. So you can see this really snap action move here. That's where he gets a lot of that velocity. But you can see when he gets to that point, how open his chest is, how left his chest is, how left his hips are. Big counter coil release. And then real quick snap action to get that ball moving at 95 to 100 miles an hour at times. I think he probably averages in the 90, sidearmer probably in the 90 to 94 ball speed, but obviously that's a lot of speed for a baseball to be traveling. So anyway, so then we look at Rickey Fowler, and we look at a very similar, I'll go to the slow motion swing. So we get to top, what's happening from the top of his swing. You can see, if you can look closely at the center of his core, how he moves his obliques at the target before the club starts down. You can see this, I'll just pull it out just a tiny bit, and you can see there's that magic little move right there. See how his hips have rotated as he starts forward? The left knee is turning at the target early. The hips start to pull a little bit left. There's a little shift there, but more importantly, I'm talking about that little twist of the obliques, leaving the club behind and really getting that counter coil. So this is the top of his swing right there. He's turned, but watch, he'll actually turn a little more as he starts down. There it is, right there. His hips actually turned a little more, and he's really compressed his upper half, in a sense, away from his lower half. So we've created more of a counter coil to create that lag. He's not doing it with the handle. He's doing it with the lower half. And then his arms just kind of come down. Remember, with Darren O'Day, his arm didn't start forward as his lower body started forward. His arm actually just fell into position. You can see right there his hands and club aren't going at the target yet. They're not going at the ball yet. But his lower body has definitely shifted left and opened up a lot. And then as we roll out a little farther, we can see it better. So, if you get halfway down, even at that point, we can draw lines here. You can see that, in general, he's left the club back here off his right foot, even behind his right foot, and his hips and belt are pointing well forward of the ball at this point, and his chest is well behind the ball still. So that's the counteraction that he's using to leverage a lot of speed. And that's going to add, all that transfers into the lever system of his hands and his wrist, creating a lot of that speed. And then at that point, get rid of that. At that point, he's just going to let it fire. So he's going to go here. Now he's got to let the club rip. I mean, he's really going to let this thing go. And there it is. And you can see at the middle of the impact, his hips have cleared, but they kind of stall out. They typically stall out here naturally, because now the club's just going to be the momentum arm. It's just moving the fastest. You want that club to be moving the fastest through the bottom of the strike, and the hips stall out a little bit, and then they'll speed up again as he pivots all the way through. He's just a dynamic guy. I mean, you can see how much flexibility and mobility he has in his upper body versus his lower. He can really separate nicely, but you can see that little move right there. That's that power move. You can see how he leaves the club behind a little bit, and then he whips it right through the bottom. And then, you know, the other thing I really like about this is he stays deep in his posture. That's a big key to really striking the golf ball well. You can see here he's got his, I draw one off his tailbone there. And then when he gets through impact, you can see how deep he stays. See that right? See the left glute, the lead glute back into the line. Maintains the tilt in his body really well. That's really important. And then back to O'Day. You can see the tilt he maintains too. That's a pretty big tilt. As he counter corks that right arm, drops it in, elbow forward, open up, boom, zip. So that's where they're getting a lot of their momentum in the club head, in the speed. It's you know, a little bit of it is definitely caused by moving vertically out of the ground, but you know, with Rickey, he's not pushing out like a Justin Thomas, but he is really good at getting that center mass moving early, leaving the arms behind. Sequencing is really good here. You know, he waits, and then once his body has really got out of the way and cleared with that right elbow in front, he just lets it rip, and that's where all that speed comes from. That's great. It's pretty fantastic golf swing. He's fun to watch, and I foresee him, you know, winning a major or two, you know, not too far in the future.